Hey everyone, so the next lesson today is more area. Today we're going to do trapezoids, circles, and finding the area of a shaded region. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so first we have trapezoids. We learned about trapezoids back in chapter 6 when we learned about all the different types of quadrilaterals. You may remember that the parts of a trapezoid, we have bases, base 1 and base 2. That's what B1 and B2 stand for. And now we have a height. So remember from the last lesson that the height of a shape, like a triangle or trapezoid or something like that, is always going to be perpendicular to the bases. So like if you were ever given this side, that's not the height. This, not the height. It has to be perpendicular to the bases. So if we take a look over here to this example, we have this would be my base 1, and this would be my base 2. It doesn't really matter which one you say is base 1 or base 2. I usually just do the top is base 1 and the bottom is base 2. And there's your height. So now we're going to plug it into that formula right here. What's important is that we use order of operations and we add the bases. So you multiply the height by the sum of the bases and then divide by 2. So this is going to be 2.9 times 1.5 plus 3.3, and then it's over 2. So I'm first going to add, we're going to do parentheses first, 1.5 and 3.3, which would be 4.8. So you're going to do 2.9 times 4.8, and then you're going to divide that by 2. So 2.9 times 4.8 is 13.92, divided by 2 is 6.96. So the area here would be 6.96, and we would say square inches or inches squared. Okay, so that's the area of a trapezoid. They're all pretty much the same, just plugging it in and making sure you're doing the correct order of operations. Next, we have circles. So we had a whole unit on circles. That was our last unit. We did learn about the circumference of circles, but we didn't talk about the area of a circle. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. So the radius, r stands for radius, the radius is being squared, meaning multiply by itself, and then you multiply by pi. Sometimes you're given the radius. Remember, that's the radius. Remember that the whole thing, though, is the diameter, just so you know, as a refresher. Remember, too, that the diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. So there may be examples where you first have to find the radius and then plug it into the area formula. Okay, so let's look at this first example. Our first example down here, we are given a radius. So this is r. So the area is just going to be pi times 5 squared. And now you're going to do this first because order of operations says we have to do exponents first. So this turns into pi times 5 squared. 5 squared is 25 because it's 5 times 5. So then you just plug in pi times 25 and you get 78.54. In the practice that you're going to do today, and this is centimeters squared. In the practice that you're going to do today, it's on IXL. IXL, for some reason, asks you to use 3.14 for pi. And you do actually have to do that in order to get the IXL question correct. I normally wouldn't ask you to use 3.14. I would always prefer that you use the pi button. But you'll see that you'll only get it right if you use 3.14. So it's kind of annoying. All right, let's take a look at number 3. This one, we're given a diameter. See how this is the whole distance? So this is a diameter, but for the formula, we need the radius. So you want to cut 26 in half to get that the radius is 13, and then just plug it into the formula. So area equals pi times 13 squared. Again, you're doing the exponent first. So this is going to be pi times 169. That's 13 times 13. And then just plug it into the calculator. So it's 530.93. And this is centimeters squared. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is find the area of a shaded region. And so what we mean by that, if you take a look at this picture here, it's like a shape within a shape. And so only part of it is shaded. So if you look at the shaded part right here, this is just the shaded part, if we're just looking at the shaded part, this is not a figure that we know how to find the area of. However, this is created by taking the big square, which we know we can find the area of, right? That's the first thing you want to do. And then you would take the little square, the unshaded part, find the area of that. And if you subtract them, you're left with the blue part. Let's see if I can erase yeah. So then you're left with the blue part when you subtract them. And that's what you want. So again, you find the area of the whole thing as if the whole thing was shaded in, then find the area of the unshaded part, and then you subtract them. So see right here, I have entire shape minus unshaded would give you the shaded region. So for this example here, the entire shape is a square. Remember that, so I'm going to put big shape. A square, you do length times width, which they're the same. So 63 times 63. And that's going to be 3,969. Then we're going to do the unshaded part. This is another square, so 32 times 32. Which is 1,024. And then lastly, for the shaded region, you subtract them. So we're going to do 3,969 minus 1,024. And we get 2,945. And we need to label units. So that's kilometers squared. And that's our shaded region. So we did the whole thing minus the white part, and that gives you the shaded part. Okay, the last example we're going to do for today is this one. This is a circle and a square. So first the circle, again, the entire shape. So we're going to do the whole circle, pretending like the whole thing is shaded in. So that's going to be area of a circle is pi r squared, which we just learned. This 14, however, that's the diameter. So I know they put it on the outside of the circle, but that basically means like this is 14. So we need the radius of the circle, which would be half of 14, which is 7. So the area of the circle is going to be pi times 7 squared, which is pi times 49, which is 153.94. So that's for the whole thing. Now we need to do the square. So the square, the unshaded part, is 6 times 6, which is 36. And then lastly, for that shaded region, we're just going to subtract them. So 153.94 minus 36. And that's going to be 117.94. And that's feet squared, or square feet. Okay, so that's it for area. Next time we're going to learn about either volume or surface area. I haven't decided yet, but your practice again is on IXL. The directions will be on Classroom. And let me know if you have any questions. All right, guys, have a great day.